So that is fascinating. And with the market the way it is today, where you have shortage of inventory and everything is flying off the shelf as is, even luxury properties, and there are bidding wars. It was a bidding war in Palm Beach the other day where it was $100 million house. $100 million house. I couldn't even comprehend it. And it was a bidding war on that through just regular traditional brokerage. Question to you, how you get involved in a situation like that when the traditional brokerage can have bidding wars as is?
Okay, great question. So they don't need us. They don't need us. You know, it starts with the seller, as I said earlier. Mm-hmm. If the seller prefers this approach, then the listing agent should offer this approach.
Okay.
If the seller prefers this approach, they may not accept the outcome of a traditional brokerage strategy, mm-hmm. but they may accept the same outcome if it comes through an auction strategy. In other words, in this $100 million example, if the seller prefers auction, mm-hmm. at the end of a traditional strategy, let's assume they got a $100 million offer. Mm-hmm. The seller may say, no, this is worth 110. I'm not selling less than 110. Mm-hmm. So they don't sell. If the seller believes in auction and prefers auction, and we deliver the same 100 million, the seller is more likely to accept the conclusion because they believe in the process. Mm-hmm. And this value is really, really, really significant for the listing agent.
Right.
It took me, I'm doing this 17 years, it took me 14 years to realize that there is a tremendous value that we provide to listing agents, which is that we help the seller understand fair market value. Mm-hmm. That's the number one problem in the marketplace. The number one obstruction to more deals getting done is an unrealistic seller. I think there isn't a listing agent or any agent around that would disagree with that.
Right.
If sellers were realistic, everything would sell. Everything would sell because everything has a value. Yeah. So if you just accepted the highest bid, everything would sell because there's always going to be a bid, right?
Right.
So how do you, this is the question I've been really struggling, not even focused on for years. How do you educate a seller? How do you tell the seller, I'm sorry, I know you think it's worth 4 million, but it's worth 3 million. You've been on the market for 3 years. You've been on the market with a top broker at this firm and a top broker at that firm, and they have done all the right things, and they have brought you numerous offers around 3 million, and you have rejected all of them because you still think your home is worth 4 million. Why? And this is normally the conversation we have when sellers call us direct. This is what we tell them. You're on the market for 3 years. You're with great brokers. They're on Zillow or StreetEasy, MLS, and so on.
They did their due diligence, professional photography, marketing strategy.
It's not the listing agent's fault. Mm-hmm. It's usually the seller who is unrealistic. So really then the question is, how do you educate the seller? Mm-hmm. And some sellers need a different approach. And that's, again, another great value that we provide. When we complete our program, what the conversation with the seller is, look, you've been on the market with 2 different brokers for 3 years. The conclusion was 3 million. Now it's been another 8 weeks with a listing broker at a good firm and Paramount mm-hmm. and an alternative marketing approach, which is auction. Mm-hmm. And we have done all these extra things, and the listing broker has done all the expected things, and we've done everything combined together at the same time. And guess what? The conclusion is the same thing. It's 3 million. So the marketplace has spoken. The marketplace spoke before with your previous broker, mm-hmm. and then again with the other broker, and then with your traditional broker and us together. The buyers are telling you 3 million. Your brokers are telling you 3 million. The auction company is telling you 3 million. The only one that doesn't believe 3 million is the seller.
Yeah. And if you are serious about selling the house, then you should accept it.
Then you should accept it, because here's the next question. If you don't accept it, what are you going to do now? What's the alternative? You're going to reject this 3 million, and you're going to terminate your broker and the auction company, and then you're going to hire another broker? How is that going to generate a different outcome? Mm-hmm. What are they going to do differently for you that the prior brokers and the auction house didn't do for you?